Tessellations are mathematical patterns generated by arrangement of regular polygon shapes that are interlocking and closely fit together without any gap in between. Presenting you Tessellations 28, a Blender asset pack to create beautiful mathematical figures based on meshes. It allows you to control its size, shapes, patterns, thickness of mesh, trip or clip part of a mesh by applying the mask, and also apply various materials like steel, aluminum, glass, and glossy materials. Using Tessellation 28, you can create symmetric mesh patterns, window grills, nets, frames, fences, and much more. So download your asset pack now. Hello everyone, this is Jayesh, and today I will explain you about Tessellation 28, which is a Blender asset pack which is designed by me. So after you download it and unzip, you'll get a folder. A folder will contain three items. The first one is the README file. The README file will give you idea about the version of the asset pack and its feature. In future, if I change the version, the history will be recorded over here. All the modifications, all the bug fixes, if any, and future editions will be listed in the same file. The second one is actual Blender file, which contains all the uh, geometry nodes and geometry node groups into it, which is supposed to be used as an asset pack. So I'll explain you as the video progresses how you have to set all the path and everything to be used as an asset in the asset library. The third one basically is the manual, user manual. In the user manual, I have tried to explain in short what the tessellations are. So tessellations basically are geometrical figures or tiles which are connected to each other in a symmetrical manner with geometrical relation with each other. I mean, there are various ways into which we can define that symmetrical pattern. And to explain in details about tessellation, basically will require a entire video on its own. So I'm not going to get into details of what tessellations are, but in the manual I have tried to give you short idea, not introduction, about what are tessellations and how tessellations are made, what all translations and rotations are needed to create a tessellation pattern. You need to create maybe a translation or a rotation by certain degrees for the glided mirror reflections. Over here, the table gives you idea about different kinds of tessellations, names, and its geometry. Over here are triangle, quadrilateral, pentagon, and hexagon, which are basically the basic shapes which create patterns like CCC, CC6, C6, and so on. Okay, now these sections give you information about the actual Tessellation 28 asset pack. So uh, you can go through this manual basically and get the idea of what this package is all about. Okay, this table gives you detail about this is the name over here in the geometric node is actually the name of the asset. Okay, so there are basically 28 geometry nodes under the Blender. Okay, and this is how your asset pack library will look. Okay, and then I have added certain basic materials which you can use for tessellations, for creating tessellations. Application wise, if you see, we can create various nets or grills if you want the window grills or fences through this. Okay, and in this section I have also explained how you can control the shape of the geometry node, shape of the tessellations. Then there are various parameters which you can control, which you can which you can use to control the tessellations shape. Okay, So apart from this user manual, which contains quite a bit details, I will give you an example how you can use this geometry node to create your own beautiful patterns and meshes. Okay, so let's start it. So I'm taking this basic Blender file. Okay, and before that I'll explain you the process of installing the asset pack. So what you need to do is you define a particular folder, I mean a fixed folder which you mostly won't change quite a bit, and that folder you will unzip the downloaded Tessellation 28 file, and this folder will be used as an asset pack library. Okay, so what you need to do is open a Blender file, go to edit, preferences, and under preferences there are various sections. Go to file path. Under file path there is this section which is asset library. Okay, here you can add various asset packs, asset libraries. So what you can do is press this plus icon over here, and it will open a window for you, and give the path of this folder where you have kept this folder containing the Tessellation 28 asset pack. This process is same for any asset pack which you download from anywhere. Once you do that, it will take the name of the folder. You can also double click and change it as per your need. And here is the path of the asset pack which is located in your PC. Okay. After that, save the preferences and close this window. Once you do that, what you can do is open a window. Okay, so I'll change this thing to from here to open the asset browser from here, and here all the asset libraries which are there in your PCs in your folder path of asset library will be displayed over here. So what you can do is click over here and change it to the asset pack which you have installed. So over here we can see that I have selected my products, under which three packages are available. If I click on all the assets, okay, which are under tessellations, asset pick are displayed over here. So all the meshes are displayed, all the materials are also displayed. Now one thing I want you to notice is that those icons which I have used, right, they are not actual representative of the meshes which will be generated. They are just symbolic representation, in the sense that you can definitely create those patterns, but these are not the only pattern which you can create, right? You can take this, say for example, C4 C4 style, and you can generate this exact pattern, or you can tweak the parameter as per your need and generate slightly different patterns. Ideally speaking, you can generate n number of different tessellations by tweaking the parameters which are involved in this tessellations. So let, let me give you an example. Let us take uh, a mesh. Let us take a plane, for example. Okay. Now in this plane, we will add an asset pack. So let us try to use maybe this one. So once you drag it on that, you can see that already it has taken up a material. So if I go to this view, shading view in over here, you can see that it has taken a hexagonal shape. And if you click on that and go to modifiers, you can see that there are various parameters pertaining to this node, geometric node. Okay, so over here, let me explain you in detail what are the parameters. The first parameter is R. R basically controls the size of the mesh. Okay, so let me just adjust it. Okay, now I'm changing the size, and you pay attention on the mesh. As you can see, I can control the size with controlling value of R. Okay, so this is the first parameter. The second one is X and Y vertices. So if I increase it, it increases the number of meshes generated. Okay, and third one is the curve resolution. So basically this is a curve only, but as you can see over here in the node, I have used mesh to curve to mesh geometric node over here, and for that I have used a circle. Okay, and for that the resolution is being controlled by this parameter. So by changing this thing, you can actually change the resolution of the curve. Okay, and then the next parameter is the thickness, how thick you want your mesh to be. So basically the radius of this curve circle is being controlled by this curve thickness. So if you change it, you can change the thickness. Now let me just change it to maybe melt cap, something like this, temporary. The next parameter is mesh rotate around Z. In case if you want to rotate it along Z axis, you can use this parameter and rotate it about Z axis, Z axis. Next is mesh offset in X and Y direction. So you can just decrease this value to move it in X and Y direction respectively. Okay. The next thing is merge enable. So basically all those meshes, has been made up of Bezier segments. Okay, so you can consider these junctions. Those junctions, many segments, many points converge to this point, come to this point, and overlap on each other. So if you want to uh, merge those points to reduce the geometry, you can definitely check this box over here, and you can see the result. If I check and uncheck, the the segments, the points are getting merged over here, right? And you can control the distance over which they get merged. So if I increase the distance, the distant points also get merged into each other, but it kind of changes the shape of the mesh in undesirable way. So you can reduce the distance and change it so that it looks good, right? Okay, and not much deformation is taking place. Now next parameters are some of the parameters which you should be looking forward to. So over here, by changing those values, basically you are controlling the Bezier segments. Okay, so as you can see, I am controlling these values. You are basically controlling the handles values of the segment, Bezier segment. Okay, so if I take a Bezier segment mesh curve and so if I see, this is the Bezier segment. Okay, and if I go to edit mode, there are two points on the curve. Okay, so let's just move it in. Okay, so as you can see over here, there are 2 points. So we can control those points, those segments. Okay, handles, and we can change the shape of the curve. So basically the exact same thing I'm controlling uh, through those parameters. So this is how I'm changing the shape of the entire mesh by controlling the uh, left and right start and end handles. So let us tweak it a bit more and let us see how beautiful patterns we can generate. So you might see that I'm already able to control the shape of this mesh. Let us try to control this. So you can see how, such a beautiful patterns can be generated, and you can tweak it at any time you want. I mean, it's up to you how you want to control it, but this is how you can generate meshes. Okay. At the same time, you can definitely change the number of X and Y vertices and keep on increasing as per your requirements. Okay. This will definitely add up to a lot of geometry and might become very heavy for certain computers, like it is becoming heavy for me because mine is not very advanced computer, not so very advanced graphic card. So let's go for next parameters. So here is the mask enable parameter. Now what does masking do? Mask is basically used to control the dimension of the mesh which is generated. Sometimes you may not want to generate whole mesh and but only a certain area of the mesh. So what you can do is you can enable this thing. Let me reduce the geometry first. You can enable the mask and change the size by using those. You can see that I'm controlling it from the left side. Let us control it from the right side as well. So you can see that the clipping effect of the mask from left and right side. Let me do it from the top. It's not happening. So let's go for negative direction. Yeah, negative, and over here from the bottom side. Yes. So it is a bit heavy effect for my computer and my graphics card, which is very very primitive and very basic one. For others, it may not be much problematic. But in case if it slows down, what you can do is use following trick which I am telling you. So what you can do is come to this section. Okay, this is the geometry node over here. Come to this section. This is the entire geometry node pertaining to the group which we have used, which is 07 C3 C3 C6 C6. Okay, come to ending part over here, this section which is giving you mask group. Just connect this point. Before that, you just disable this mask. First of all, connect this point to join geometry section, so you will be able to see the mask which is used. Now without enabling mask, just control the size of the mask. You can see on this panel over here, I'm controlling the mask size. So just decide what kind of mask you want, because now it is not very heavy because mask is not enabled. So decide the boundary of the mask, something like this. Okay, so once you are happy with the mask size and shape, just disconnect it and enable the mask. So we'll be able to see the effect of masking over here. Okay, so that's it. So let me disable the mask. So you can definitely control those various parameters. Apart from that, you can rotate the mask along Z axis. Suppose if I give something like 45 degree and re-enable the mask again, you will find that the mask has been rotated by 45 degrees. If I change it to 60 degrees, you can see that mask has been rotated by 60 degrees. But please note that this is rotation of mask and not the actual node in itself, actual mesh. Mesh is not getting rotated by this feature. To rotate the mesh, you have to use this parameter on the top, mesh rotate. Okay, so if I change it by say 30 degrees, so mesh will rotate by 30 degrees. Okay, here we are rotating mesh, but at the bottom, okay, over here we are rotating the mask itself. So I'll make it 0 again and I disable the mask. The last parameter over here, okay, which is to provide material. So let me just go to over here. You can come to this section now. First section will contain all the tessellations, 28 tessellations over here. Various designs and patterns are can be generated. The second one is material. So all the materials which I have included in this asset pack are displayed over here. So say for example you want to use red one, just drag it in this part. It will be available over here. You can use it and it will be applied over here. Okay, say you want to use for the glossy kind of red one. You can use it with glossy red, or you can simply apply it. So it is available over here, and you can use the material straight away. You can see the material is applied. Okay, you can apply different materials. See aluminum black, or maybe some glass kind of thing. You can check the glass 2 part, and this is the glass material has been applied. And of course you can change the shape and size if you want, create different patterns. Let us try to use some other geometry. So once you are happy with this pattern, you can apply the geometry node and save it. Let me hide this. Let's take some other plane, one more plane, and okay. Now let us apply something else. Maybe we can try. Maybe we can try this one. Okay, so this is the basic shape, and there are various parameters. You can take the red color. Let us try to tweak parameters. Let us increase the number of meshes over here, right? Maybe something like this. Now you can change the thickness if you want, but I think this is fine. Let us come down over here and tweak certain parameters. I mean, you can just change the parameter as per your requirement, as it pleases you. Create beautiful patterns and meshes. This is one very beautiful design which we can create. Let us take some other limited node as well. This is one thing. If you don't like it, you don't want to. If you want to change it, you can just change it by disabling it and apply some other geometry node. Say for example this one, and you can see that accordingly new geometry node has been applied. Node group has been applied. So increase the number of X and Y vertices. So I mean, it is up to you how you want to generate patterns, and which is good for you. You can generate various fancies or grills, window grills for that. So this is one shape you can generate. We just hide it, and maybe we can try some other pattern. Let me give you the last example, and then you can we can move ahead. Maybe we can try this. Let us change the size, maybe, yeah, and then increase the X and Y values. You can also try to use for better view. Okay, now It is to be certain more values. I mean, there is no limit to which you can generate different kind of patterns over here. So you can use this idea to develop your window meshes and everything. So this was about the tessellation and tessellation materials. Now let me give you overview of what is tessellation switch. Now if you go to tessellations, you can see that for each tessellation, the various geometry nodes are there which you can apply, but sometimes user may prefer to have all the tessellation in one place and just use it through one parameter. So in that case, you can use tessellation switch. So let me just disable this part also, and instead of these geometry nodes over here 28, just use the switch. So let's apply a switch over here. Now what a switch does is it does the same job as all the tessellations, but it is little different from other 28 tessellations in a way that on the panel over here, on the modifier panel, you can see that only one parameter is there, which is the tessellation index or tessellation number, which will have value from 1 to 28 depending on which tessellation you want to generate. That's it. So suppose right now it is 1, it is generating a pattern equivalent to tessellation 1. So it is generating this pattern. If I make it 2, it is taking the shape of this pattern. If I make it 3, then it is tessellation 3, 4 and tessellation 4 and so on up to 28. So the 28 one is the last tessellation. So what about the parameter which we want to tweak it to change the size and shape and everything? For that, you need to go inside this entire geometry node section. So let us take some examples. Say for example, we want to generate something like this, or maybe let us try this one, 12 number. So let us put 12 over here. So we can just use this. So this is the 12 number mesh. Okay. Now, if you zoom out, you can see the whole nodes are included. So let me just give you closer look first of all. So you can see a title 3 over here. Okay. Over here it is 4. Again 4. Again there is 5. And then there is 6. So this gives you idea of what are the basic shapes which are used, and the same basic shapes have been reflected over here. So if you see the subscript over here 3 3 3 3 3, these 1 2 3 4 5 shapes are included in the first section over here under title 3. This is title 4. This is 4. So how many items are there? There are 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 items under title 4. So you can see over here 4 4 4 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11, right? Similarly for 5 and 6. So all the items over here have been included in this same section over here. So once you have selected this, say for example you selected 12 number, you go to 12 number items. So this is 1 2, already numbers are given with 0 5. So this is 0 6 7 8 9 10 11. If I say for example by mistake if I try to change parameters, now all the parameters which were there on the left hand side panel are included over here on this geometry node group. Okay, the parameters which we are trying to change from right side are over here only. So say for example this is 12 number, but I'm trying to change the value in the of the node 11. It is not going to happen. Alright, it is not going to control anything because it controls geometry node 11, not the 12. So you have to go to the perfect parameter, perfect number 12, and this is 12 over here, this is a 12 over here, and you can come over here and change the parameters. It will definitely get reflected. So let me just make some space. Okay, So if I change the size, yes, it is changing. I can change the indices, number of indices. I can change this thickness as I need. Of course, rotation, 0 10, and so let's control the shape again. Maybe something like, okay, this is too much. So it is up to you what kind of shape you want to generate. So I mean, this is not a new thing. It is the same old tessellations, but shown as a collection under this big giant group. The benefit is that by tweaking this parameter over here, you can just use all the parameter, all the segments, all the geometry nodes in a single place. Okay. I mean, it's a matter of preference how a user prefers. You can prefer this method, which is named as Tessellation Switch. Okay. Or you can use tessellations individually. It's up to you. So let me just disable this thing. Let's enable, so for example, this thing again. One more thing just I want to explain you, which is not very important, but as we are over here, let me just explain. So let me just make it a bit more beautiful. Maybe decrease this value also, maybe something like this. This looks good. Now what additionally you can do is as you might have noticed, I'm only controlling the x values, right, and the y values, not z. This is because people may not want to control the z values. The only x and y patterns are enough, but somehow if your application demands to have a change in x, y, in sorry, z direction, z direction, you can definitely go for that, but it may not be very desirable for everybody. I don't know what kind of application would require that, but I'm just showing that that is also possible. You can just tweak the z parameter and you can see that symmetrical patterns in z direction are also possible. It maintains the symmetry in beautiful way, but I'm not pretty sure if anybody requires any mesh like that, but it is possible in z direction also. As you can see, I'm controlling shape in the z direction, right? But I don't know how this will be useful. Yes, if I take a top view, then in the top you can see that, right? So this is the additional information I wanted to give you, and this is applicable to every pattern over here. So let me reset it 0 again. All the z value at least go to 0. There you go. Apart from that, one more thing I think I missed is this value resolution. Now, resolution controls the curvature of those patterns, how curvy, how rounded, how smooth they are, right? So if I decrease the resolution say to 4, you can see that sharpness has been introduced in certain areas. Let me make it 8 over here as well. So 8 over here. So anything else? Let me make it 1 plus 4. So you can see that kind of sharpness has been introduced, right? The cornery thing has been introduced. It is not more smooth because we have decreased the resolution quite a bit. So if you this will definitely decrease the geometry involved into that, but it will come at a cost of smoothness and curvature or and roundedness of the mesh. So you can definitely play with the value and see for yourself how much curvature you want. The less curvy it is, less rounded, less smooth it is, less geometry it will take. The more rounded it is, it will definitely look beautiful, but it will take more geometry, uh, maybe a little burden for your computer. So that's it. That's all from my side. Wish you a very happy tessellation and download this asset pack and generate different tessellations, meshes and patterns. Happy tessellations. Goodbye.